For Cybercrime Radio, I'm Amanda Glassner, Deputy Editor at Cybercrime Magazine. I attended the 2026 RSA conference where we caught up with Gary Segal, Principal Sales Engineer at Mend.io. This episode is brought to you by Mend.io, the leading application security solution helping organizations reduce application risk effectively. To learn more about our sponsor, visit Mend.io. Welcome, Gary. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Mend?
Sure. I'm Gary Segal, Principal Solutions Engineer. I've been in the application security industry for, well over 8 years now. It's gone by in a blink. And my job is helping customers and prospective customers understand the capabilities of Mend to help them improve their application security postures. And as you can imagine, over the 8 years that I've been involved in this industry, that has changed dramatically. Obviously, AI has been the big and most dramatic change in the last year or so, but that's primarily what I do.
So we are here to talk about mapping AI risk to compliance today. This is a relatively new industry, and a lot of existing regulations were written before AI became embedded in applications. So what can you tell us about that and how it's impacted Mend and what you do for Mend?
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about how Mend approaches AI security as a whole, and that will help frame the discussion.
Yeah, please.
Application security has gone through a lot of improvements over the last decade. We've been in the business for 15 years, and it started out with simply, tell me what the problems are. Now we have to have a whole governance wrapped around it, and also tell me how to fix the problems and automate all of that. And that's all a big part of what's happened with application security. With AI, we have the same set of issues that we're just now starting on that journey. People have come into AI and we start using AI to write code, or we put AI technology in our applications, and the first step is, what am I doing? What am I using? What are the risks? You have to just understand that. And we're really at the early, before you can even start applying governance. If you don't know what you're governing, you can't govern it. And because of our expertise because of Mend's expertise in helping people understand application and manage application security risk and compliance, we're bringing that to AI as well. And I would say in the market, it's really important that people understand that they need to do that as well. Again, very first, you need to start with, what is the risk? What do I know about? And then it's important to be able to build compliance rules, workflows, and all of that around it. I generally see that as organizations scale. The smaller organizations with a handful of developers, they may be okay with just knowing what the risk is and they can handle it. Tens, hundreds of developers, you need compliance.
Now, would you agree that organizations must interpret controls creatively to address the wide risk landscape we're facing today?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Compliance, especially when we start talking about compliance with some of the government mandates, there may not be as much room for creativity there because the government's telling you what you need to do, but that also is a rapidly changing thing. So also what one organization considers a risk may be a different level of a risk for a different organization, and that's where a lot of the creativity may come in. And that's why it's important to, as you build out a compliance program, to be using a product that has a capability to let you build it out according to your rules and to apply that type of creativity.
Now, AI risk lives across multiple control domains, so would you say treating it as a single checkbox creates blind spots, and if so, why?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the term AI, and just even talking about AI in software development, is such a broad spectrum of technologies. We're talking about people who are using AI to develop code, talking about people who are putting AI capabilities into their product, maybe even using AI as other ways to validate their products. So there's a whole spectrum of risk surfaces that are exposed when AI gets brought into the software development process. And you need to have appropriate controls at each of those points. It's not just, we're using a trusted LLM from a certain vendor. Well, if your developers are out there using one of the agentic code generators, or Cursor or similar, Copilot, you're not even thinking about that. So you've got to be thinking about that as well and saying, how can I secure that code? And that's an orthogonal issue to, is my LLM revealing customer data when people give it hacky prompts?
So auditors tend to care less about AI ethics and statements and more about proof. So what can you tell us about organizations and why it's important to demonstrate how AI risks are identified, monitored, and mitigated in practice?
Yeah, and this goes back to what I was talking about earlier in terms of having the compliance tooling in place to generate a lot of times just simple things like reporting. Can we show to people that we ran these scans and we got these results and that we drove them down? That is not unique to AI. It is application security has been doing this for a long time. And then the other piece of this is, of course, building policies around that align with what the auditors are going to be looking for, and also having ways to automate that. So for developers, they're getting notified about it before it becomes a compliance issue and they can remediate or resolve it and so on.
Now, we're here at RSA. Taking into consideration everything we just talked about, what are you hearing from vendors and customers? Would you say they agree with where we're leaning?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, men's message is very well received in the market. And I see a broad range of people, where people are on their AI journeys. Some people are just starting out, hey, I think we need to use some AI in our software. They're not sure what it means. Others are very much further along. We're building AI-enabled products. Our development teams are using AI to write code and deliver AI-powered products. And those types of organizations are also the ones who are looking for governance to go along with it, because they're further along and they've got histories of having done this with other products. So it's a very dynamic and fast-moving part of the software market, with AI really turning things on its head. And companies like Men that are helping software developers deal with these rapid changes I believe, are well positioned to help, again, increase the security. Because to me, the end goal is I want people in this industry to deliver secure products. It's so important. Some of us are old enough that remember things like Equifax and Target Heartland, right, that have had serious financial implications and market implications for individuals as well as their companies. And we shouldn't be delivering code that allows those things to happen. And AI just makes it that much harder.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
For Cybercrime Radio, I'm Amanda Glassner, Deputy Editor at Cybercrime Magazine, and we are here with Gary Segal from Mend.io at RSA 2026. To learn more about our sponsor, visit Mend.io.